Thanks God you reached here. I was so worried.
The storm raged across the barren surface of Eltra 9, a forgotten moon lost between trade routes. Most explorers avoided it. But Captain Elias Thorne wasn't most explorers. He was searching for salvage, ancient tech from the fall of the Rhine Dominion, a civilization that vanished centuries ago. His ship, the Calliope, creaked under the pressure of the storm winds as he guided a drone's camera through the ruins. The screen flickered, showing dark corridors lined with rusted cages. "Old detention cells," Elias murmured. "But there's movement." The sensor pinged faint heat. "Faint but alive." He frowned. "That's impossible. There hasn't been life here in 100 years." He grabbed his helmet, heart pounding, and descended into the ruins. The discovery. The air was heavy with dust and the silence of ages. His flashlight beam cut through the dark until it landed on a shape huddled in the corner of a metal cage. It was a woman or something close to it. Her skin glowed faintly silver blue, her frame thin and frail as if carved from the shadows themselves. She lifted her head when his light touched her, eyes glowing like amethyst embers. She flinched, retreating. Chains rattled. Elias froze. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." She stared blankly, not understanding his words, trembling like a wild animal cornered too long. Her lips parted and a hoarse sound came out, not words but a desperate attempt. He slowly knelt. "You're alive. Stars above. How long have you been down here?" He reached for the lock, ancient tech, but his multi-tool sliced through it. When the door swung open, she didn't move. She simply stared as if unable to believe she was free. "Come on," he whispered. "You're safe now." When his hand brushed hers, she flinched again, but didn't pull away this time. The rescue. Back on the Calliope, Elias wrapped her in a thermal blanket, avoiding every gesture that might startle her. She didn't speak, just curled up near the heat vent like someone rediscovering warmth. He set a ration pack beside her and backed away. She sniffed at it, then devoured it with a hunger that broke his heart. Elias watched quietly. "Who did this to you?" She looked up at his voice, those violet eyes reflecting confusion, and something else. Furious, but also a faint spark of trust. He ran a scanner. Her vitals were dangerously low. Malnourished, dehydrated, but otherwise, astonishingly alive. Learning to live again. Over the following weeks, Elias taught her the basics. Words, gestures, food, warmth. He learned that her name, as close as human tongues could pronounce, was Serenia. Each day she grew stronger. Her hair, once tangled and matted, shimmered silver in the light. Her laughter, the first time it escaped her, was so fragile he nearly cried. But the nights were hardest. She'd wake screaming, haunted by shadows from that cell. Elias never touched her without permission. He'd sit nearby, talking softly until she calmed down. "Breathe, Serenia. You're not there anymore." One night when she woke shaking, she whispered, voice trembling, "Why, help me." He smiled faintly. "Because someone should have, long before I came." The past unveiled. As her memory returned, she told him fragments of her story. She had been part of the Rhine Dominion, an advanced race that believed emotion was weakness. Serenia had been different, a scientist who dared to question their ways, who tried to free experimental captives. For her compassion, she was branded a traitor and locked away. "They wanted me to vanish," she whispered, eyes distant. "And I almost did." Elias clenched his fists. "Then we'll make sure you're never forgotten again." Two souls, one ship. Traveling through the quiet reaches of space, they became each other's anchor. She learned to pilot the ship. He taught her old Earth songs. In return, she showed him how to read the stars using the Rhine way. Their constellations told stories, each one a reminder that even the coldest light could hold warmth. Sometimes they'd share meals in silence, not needing words. Sometimes laughter filled the cabin until it felt less like a vessel and more like a home. One evening, Serena approached him, holding something small, a crystal pendant she'd shaped from leftover Rhine glass. It shimmered faintly when she smiled. "For you," she said softly. "You gave me back my sky." He hesitated. "You didn't have to. I wanted to." Their hands brushed, and for a heartbeat, neither moved. There was a depth in her gaze that spoke what neither dared say aloud, a quiet gratitude that had turned into something deeper. The threat returns. But peace never lasts long in the galaxy. While scanning near an abandoned trade route, the Calliope detected a pursuing vessel, Rhine technology, still functional. Elias cursed. They shouldn't even be alive. Serena's face went pale. "If they find me." "They won't," he said firmly. "Not while I'm breathing." When the Rhine warship caught up, its commander's voice crackled through the comms. "This is Commander Virak. Return the fugitive, and your life will be spared, human." Elias replied without hesitation. "You'll have to come and take her." The battle. The Rhine ship opened fire. The Calliope shuddered under the assault. Elias worked the controls with frantic precision, evading blasts, diving through asteroid debris. "Serena, reroute power to shields." "I'm trying," she shouted over the alarms, hands moving across alien interfaces. Her mind, once dulled by captivity, now burned bright with purpose. A lucky shot crippled their main engine. The ship spun out of control, smoke filling the cabin. Elias forced a hard landing on a nearby asteroid, metal screaming. He groaned, turning to see Serena thrown against the wall, blood at her temple. "No." He crawled to her side. "Stay with me." Her eyes fluttered open. "You saved me again." He smiled weakly. "I'm not done yet." Outside, the Rhine boarding party was approaching. Elias grabbed his blaster, ready to defend the only thing he cared about. But before he could open the hatch, Serena stopped him. "Let me." Her hand glowed faintly, the mark of her Rhine heritage. She stepped forward, facing her former captors as energy swirled around her. "You kept me in darkness," she said, voice resonating through the hull. "Now see what the light has become." A burst of radiant energy erupted from her palms, blinding the Rhine. Their ship's systems overloaded, engines collapsing inward. Within moments, the pursuers vanished in a silent implosion of light. When the glow faded, she collapsed into Elias's arms, trembling but alive. After the storm, they drifted for hours before repair drones restored power. The quiet hum of life support returned, and with it, peace. Elias sat beside Serena as she rested. When her eyes opened, she smiled faintly. "I thought I'd lost you," she whispered. "Never," he replied. "You're the reason I'm still fighting." She reached for his hand. "Then let's stop running. Let's build something new." The new beginning. Months later, they settled on Lyra's Haven, a quiet planet on the edge of human space. There, Elias built a home beneath glowing trees, and Serena grew gardens where alien flowers bloomed in silver light. Neighbors came to know her as quiet but kind, the strange woman with starlight hair and a human who loved her without question. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Elias knelt in the garden, holding out a small silver band. Simple but meaningful. "Serena," he said softly, "you once asked why I helped you. I think it's because from the moment I saw you in that cell, I knew the universe owed you something better. And I wanted to be part of it." Her eyes filled with tears, not of sadness but of wonder. "I was locked in darkness for so long," she whispered. "But you gave me light." "My answer is yes." He slid the ring onto her hand, and for the first time since the ruins, her trembling stopped. Epilogue: The Light Beyond. Years later, travelers passing through Lyra's haven would sometimes see a strange sight. A human man tending a garden with a glowing-skinned woman at his side. They would smile at each other as if nothing else in the universe mattered. No one would ever guess she had once been a prisoner of her own people. No one would ever know that her laughter was once lost in darkness. And when the night sky burned with stars, Serenia would rest her head on Elias's shoulder and whisper, "I used to think love was a myth humans told to comfort themselves. But now, I know it's real." He would kiss her forehead and answer, "It's more than real, it's ours." And under the endless sky where no chains could reach, they stayed that way. Two souls who had survived the void, teaching each other how to live, how to heal, and how to love. Final line. Once, she had been locked away in the dark. Now she was the brightest star he had ever known.